good for the sport for Jimmie to be dominating and winning 4 titles like he is?
You know, I don't think it necessarily hurt it. You know, there are some things that could be more exciting, but it's also pretty darn exciting to be a part and live a huge part of history, to be right in the middle of it and experience it. So, you know, in some ways it could have been more exciting if mixed up a little bit, but in other ways, big deal.
How do you guys approach the Bud Shootout now since there's no testing down here? Does that make Saturday night's race even more important to prepare for the 500?
It does, and I had to set it out last year. It was very miserable for me. The limited track time that you get, that's a critical race to be in.
How about as far as is it good for the fans, I guess, to have that sort of race to kick off the season? I mean, what does it do for the sport to prepare you for speed meets?
I think it is awesome. I don't know for sure if it has the same luster that it had back when it was, gosh, the year I was in it in 1982, I think it was only 14 cars. You know, it was very, very elite. It lost some of its elite status. But it's a darn good way to start off, you know, our season. I think having the Daytona 500 first is also a very good way. Don't forget, this is NASCAR. If there was a better way of doing it, they probably would already be doing it. So, yeah, I love the shootout. I don't know that we'll ever be able to. Part of the excitement was too, you know, I'm nearly 30 years I've been coming doing this. First year I came in, I got to race Kel Yarborough and Richard Petty and all those guys, you know, so it would have been an incredible thrill. And now I'm a little bit more used to it, so it doesn't have quite the same glitter that it might have in 1982. But it still is, it really bothered me bad not being at last year and losing that track time.
Mark, you can...
That is kind of a broad question about the state of NASCAR. I think sometimes people like us, when we say, oh, the sky is falling, or oh, they're making changes, basing it on our perspective. Mine is, you know, less than 10 years old. You, 30 years in the sport, what, in your opinion, is the state of NASCAR?
I think the state of NASCAR is really good, comparatively speaking, to where it peaked, let's say, 2 years ago, or whatever that time where it peaked. That was an unimaginable peak, unimaginable. And NASCAR is only taking a minor reset based on the history of money that's taken from the sport. And my opinion, from the way the economy is affected, everything and everyone, NASCAR is very small reset. And now that we have some encouragement with uptick in the economy, see that headed and that momentum headed in that direction, it's only better for our fans who really felt more pain than we did before. But obviously we were everybody as well. I think it's last way more than half full.
Do you think people are under?
It'd be the biggest trophy I have.
I mean, some people would kind of maybe they'll look at it as a whole and what is an outstanding resume to not have it. I mean, is it obsessive or is it?
I'm just lucky to have an outstanding resume. With some holes in it.
Have you been able to put what you've
maybe 4 or 5 years ago when you were talking about a farewell tour, and now you're being talked about as a contender for leadership. And I mean, is it something you can imagine then, and how would you kind of really keeping it in perspective now?
I couldn't imagine the 10 because I wouldn't have taken this opportunity without having taken a couple years off, charging my batteries, reassessing my life and everything, and the changes that went on during that time. I feel maybe historically speaking, I haven't, it doesn't register much. What does register is I had the most fun of my life last year, and I'm going to have a blast this year. And I think that's really exciting. Not many people my age can say this is the best it's ever been. And for me, it is. So, life's good. And a lot of that has to do with where your head's at and your perspective on things. And also a lot of it has to do with being part of that fight team, working with folks in it.
If you have 50-year-old guys come up to you and say, what you're doing is great, I mean, it's like you're racing like a young guy, do you feel like you've become kind of an inspiration to them now?
I have to that segment of fans, stock car fans that are in that age group. We had an enormous wave of momentum built last year to that. That makes me proud to be a part of that. I feel the same thing when it's Brett Favre or a number of other folks that sort of beat the odds.
What do you think do you think it'd be the last of your breed to really race into the 50s?
I don't know. I look at a guy like Jeff Burton. I think he can do it, and will want to do it. Certainly a guy like Carl Edwards. You have to be able to do it, and you have to want it both. And put those together, and you'll have it. You'll think some guys come along that will do it.
Are you a better driver now than you were
I don't know.
back